How I stayed youthful over 60 without pills. The 5 foods I never eat. I am 67 years old and I want to show you something. Look at my hands. These are the hands of a man who has worked in a garden every single morning for 50 years. They are not soft, they are not pretty, but they work. Every finger moves, every joint bends, no swelling, no pain. My doctor saw me 4 years ago. He checked my blood pressure, he checked my cholesterol, he checked my blood sugar. He looked at the results, and then he looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I told him, "I eat the same way my father ate, and his father before him." He said that was impossible, that men my age don't have numbers like these without medication. I told him I have never taken a pill in my life. He did not believe me. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist. I am a farmer from Ogimi village in Okinawa, Japan, a small village on the northern tip of this island that most people have never heard of. You will not find it on a tourist map. There is nothing there to see except old people. Everywhere you look, old people, still walking, still gardening, still laughing at their kitchen tables. My mother is 91 years old. She walks to the market every Tuesday morning without help. She does not use a cane. She does not need one. She has never been hospitalized for anything serious. She wakes up every morning, makes her tea, and walks to that market the same way she has done for 70 years. My neighbor Taro is 88. He tends his sweet potato field every day before breakfast, not because someone told him to exercise, because the field needs tending and he is the one who tends it. The woman 3 streets over, Mrs. Uehara, 96 years old. She cooked her own dinner last night. She's been cooking her own dinner for over 70 years, and she intends to keep doing it until she cannot. This is not unusual here. This is not remarkable. This is just Tuesday in Ogimi. But I have traveled. I have seen how people live in other places. I have watched what happens to the younger generation here in Okinawa who stopped eating the old way and started eating the modern way. I have watched what the Western diet does to a body over 20, 30, 40 years. And I need to tell you something honestly, because I think no one around you is saying this clearly enough. The food is killing you. Not slowly, not quietly, loudly, obviously, right in front of everyone. And somehow, in a country that spends more money on healthcare than any nation in history, nobody is pointing at the obvious thing on the table. You are not sick because you are getting older. Aging does not cause the diseases that are killing most people in the Western world. The people in my village are aging. My mother at 91 is aging. Mrs. Uehara at 96 is aging. They do not have the diseases that most 65-year-old Americans have. They are not on 10 medications. They are not managing 3 chronic conditions simultaneously. They are old and they are healthy, and the difference between them and the average Western senior is not genetics and it is not luck. It is what they put in their mouths every single day. I want to tell you about my wife Fumiko. Fumiko grew up in this village the same as I did. We married young. She cooked the way her mother cooked. Miso soup every morning, tofu, seaweed, sweet potato, bitter melon from the garden. She was healthy her whole life, strong, never sick with anything serious. Our children were raised on the food she made from scratch every day. Then the children grew up and left, and Fumiko was tired. She had cooked 3 meals a day for 25 years. She started buying things from the newer supermarket, packaged things, convenient things, things that took 10 minutes instead of an hour. I did not say anything. I understood. I said nothing. Fumiko died at 61. Cardiac event, sudden, without warning. Here in Okinawa, where heart disease barely exists, where the rates of cardiovascular death are among the lowest on earth. My wife died of a cardiac event at 61. I have thought about that every single day since. What I think about, what I cannot stop thinking about, is those last years, those packages in the kitchen, the slow, invisible shift away from the food that had kept her healthy for 50 years. I do not know for certain. No doctor can tell me with certainty that the food caused it. But I know what I watched. And I know that I am telling you this today because you still have time, and she did not. So listen carefully. There are 5 foods I have never eaten, 5 things that do not exist in my kitchen, in my mother's kitchen, in any kitchen in the old part of this village. And I believe, after 67 years of watching people live long and watching people die early, that these 5 things are doing more damage to your body right now than almost anything else you will encounter. The first is processed sugar, not fruit, not the natural sweetness of a ripe sweet potato or a fresh mango. I mean the refined white powder they put inside everything sold in a package today. The stuff in your morning cereal, your bread, your salad dressing, your flavored yogurt, your sports drinks, your granola bars with pictures of mountains on the packaging. Sugar is in things that do not even taste sweet. Read the label on your tomato sauce. Read the label on your crackers. Sugar is always there. Because sugar is cheap, and sugar makes things taste better temporarily, and sugar makes you want more of the thing you just ate, which means you buy more of it. The company does not care what happens to your pancreas. In Okinawa we have a saying, if your great-grandmother would not recognize it as food, it is not food. My great-grandmother would not recognize a soft drink. She would not recognize a candy bar or a breakfast cereal. She grew up eating food that came from the ground or the sea. Food that had one ingredient, and that ingredient was the food itself. What sugar does to your body is not complicated. Every time you eat refined sugar, your blood glucose spikes rapidly. Your pancreas floods your system with insulin to bring that glucose down. This happens once. Your body handles it. This happens 3 times a day, every day for 30 years. Your cells begin to resist the insulin signal. They get tired of hearing it. Elevated insulin for years drives inflammation throughout your entire body, in your blood vessels, in your joints, in your brain. The tiredness you feel is not age. The aching joints are not age. The brain fog, the afternoon crashes, the feeling of being 10 years older than you should feel. That is your body struggling under a sugar load it was never designed to carry. I eat purple sweet potato every single day. We call it imo. It is naturally sweet, deeply satisfying, full of fiber and antioxidants. It digests slowly. It gives energy that lasts for hours. It has been the foundation of the Okinawan diet for centuries. Replace the processed sugar with real sweetness. Sweet potato, fresh fruit, a small piece of very dark chocolate after dinner if you need it. Give your body 3 weeks and it will begin to remember what steady energy actually feels like. The second is vegetable oil, canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil. The oils that filled supermarket shelves in the second half of the last century because someone decided they were healthier than animal fat. These oils are made in factories. The process involves seeds crushed at extremely high temperatures, then treated with chemical solvents to extract every last drop, then deodorized because the natural smell of the oil after that process is rancid, genuinely rancid, and no consumer would buy something that smelled the way it actually smells. So the smell is removed chemically, and the oil is put in a clear bottle and sold to you as a healthy cooking choice. I cook with sesame oil, sometimes a small amount of rice bran oil, the same oils my mother used, her mother before her. Oils pressed simply from real things with minimal processing, the way oil has been made for thousands of years. The problem with industrial vegetable oil is straightforward. These oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs some omega-6, but it needs balance with omega-3. The natural human diet had an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of roughly 2 or 4 to 1. The average Western diet today sits at 15 to 25 to 1. Almost entirely because of these oils, which are in every processed food, every restaurant fryer, every packaged snack. That imbalance drives chronic inflammation. Not the inflammation that heals a cut finger, the slow, low-grade systemic inflammation that sits inside your blood vessels and your organs and your brain for years and quietly damages everything it touches. Remove the vegetable oil from your kitchen. Replace it with sesame oil, olive oil, or cook with a small amount of real butter. Your body will process these fats properly because it was designed to. It was not designed for something made in a factory with industrial chemicals. The third is processed meat. Sausage in a plastic casing, lunch meat sealed in a package, hot dogs, bacon from an industrial farm, deli ham with a shelf life of 3 weeks. I eat pork sometimes. In Okinawa, pork has always been part of our food culture. Slow-cooked pork belly simmered for hours in soy and awamori until it melts. Real food, real ingredients, prepared the way it has been here for hundreds of years. That is completely different from a hot dog. The chemicals used to preserve processed meat, sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, the compounds that keep meat pink and extend its shelf life to weeks or months, have been studied carefully and extensively. The results are consistent. Regular consumption of processed meat is associated with significantly higher rates of colorectal cancer and cardiovascular disease. The World Health Organization classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, meaning the evidence is not a risk estimate. It is a confirmed cause. The convenience of grabbing a package from the refrigerator is real, but that convenience is costing you something you cannot see yet. You will see it in 10 or 15 years in a doctor's office, and at that point the years of convenient lunches will not feel like a reasonable trade. Eat real meat prepared simply, or eat more tofu, more fish, more beans, but put down the package. The fourth is refined flour. The white flour in your bread, your pasta, your crackers, your muffins, your pizza dough. The flour that fills the majority of what most people in the Western world eat every day without thinking about it. Real wheat, whole grain wheat, the kind grown and eaten for thousands of years, contains the bran and the germ of the grain. Those parts hold the fiber, the vitamins, the minerals. They slow digestion and give your body steady energy over hours. Refined white flour has had all of that removed. What remains is essentially pure starch. It digests almost as fast as table sugar. Your blood glucose spikes, your insulin spikes. The cycle I described with sugar begins again, except this time it is happening at breakfast with toast, and at lunch with sandwich bread, and at dinner with pasta, and at the snack with crackers. 4 times a day, every day, year after year. I eat rice, white rice, and I want to address that because people always ask. We eat white rice in Okinawa, and we are among the longest-lived people on earth. But the portions are small. The rice is surrounded by miso soup, and vegetables, and tofu, and seaweed. The rice is one element of a meal, not the meal itself. And people here move their bodies every day, farming, walking, gardening, and use that rice efficiently. White rice in a small bowl alongside real food is completely different from refined flour consumed in large quantities at every meal by someone who sits for most of the day. Context matters. But if you are going to eat grain, eat the whole grain. Eat the version your great-grandparents would recognize. Eat the version with the fiber still inside it. The fifth is dairy. We do not drink milk in Okinawa. We do not eat cheese. We do not eat butter. We never have. This is simply not part of our food culture and never has been. And Okinawan women have some of the strongest bones of any population ever measured. The rates of osteoporosis here are remarkably low. The rates of hip fracture in the elderly are far below the rates in Western countries. The countries that consume the most dairy in the world have the highest rates of osteoporosis. Researchers have noted this paradox for decades. You drink more milk to protect your bones, and your bones become more fragile. Something in that equation is not working the way the dairy industry told you it would. The calcium in dairy is real. I am not saying otherwise. But calcium also exists in tofu, in seaweed, in leafy green vegetables, in sesame seeds, in small fish eaten with their bones. And for many people, particularly those whose ancestors never kept dairy cattle, dairy creates a quiet, ongoing inflammation in the gut that most people have simply accepted as normal because they have felt it their whole lives. I get my calcium from miso soup with tofu every morning, from the kombu seaweed in that soup. My mother's bones at 91 are fine. We have never needed milk. We have never missed it. Now, I am not asking you to move to Okinawa. I am not asking you to eat exactly what I eat. But these 5 things, processed sugar, industrial vegetable oil, processed meat, refined flour, dairy, these are not ancestral foods. These are recent inventions, products manufactured and sold as food because they are cheap to produce, long-lasting on a shelf, and engineered to taste good enough that you want more of them. Your body has been eating real food for hundreds of thousands of years. It encountered these 5 things in the last 100. It does not know what to do with them. I think about my brother Hiroshi. He left this village at 22 for a corporate job in Tokyo. He came back at 55, overweight, diabetic, blood pressure requiring 2 medications, exhausted in a way that sleep did not fix. He looked 20 years older than me, and we were born 3 years apart. He sat at my kitchen table, looked at the miso soup and the sweet potato in front of him, and said, "I forgot this existed." He had not forgotten how to eat. He had simply stopped. The modern world had made it so easy to stop that he drifted away without ever making a single conscious decision to leave. He came back to it slowly. His numbers improved, his energy returned, his weight came down without ever counting a calorie. His body remembered, the way a body always remembers what it was designed to run on. Yours will, too. I am 67 years old. I wake before sunrise. I drink my turmeric tea. I work my garden. I eat slowly, without a screen in front of me. I walk where I need to go. My blood is clean. My mind is clear. My hands still work the way they were designed to work. This is not luck. This is what happens when you spend 67 years feeding a body what it was designed to eat. Nuchi Gusui, food is medicine. Every meal is either healing you or hurting you. 3 times a day, every day, for the rest of your life, you are making a choice about what your body will have to work with. Start with one thing. Remove one of these 5 foods for 30 days and pay attention to what your body does. Pay attention to your energy in the morning, how your joints feel, how your mind works at 3 in the afternoon. Your body will tell you everything you need to know if you give it the right conditions to speak. The soup is on the stove. The garden is waiting for me in the morning. I have been here 67 years, and I plan to be here for many more. Do something with what I have told you, not tomorrow, today. Nuchi Gusui.